This is our second lesson in our in-depth combo guide, and in this video we'll actually be featuring Last Hope numbers. But before that, a quick word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by the Galaxy Photon Discord server. Now, for legal reasons, I do have to state that's a joke, but I do think it's a helpful resource for anyone that wants to get better at GalaxyOs. It's a place where you can share your deck list and combos, and speaking of combos, there's an in-depth website giving you step-by-step instructions to execute the combos. A ton of people have contributed to this, including myself, so I can assure you that it's extremely useful. A link will be in the description and comment section. Before we actually get into the combos, I'm going to do a quick recap on the rules that we set in the previous video. If you haven't watched the previous video, I highly suggest you do so. So the number one rule in the previous video was get Jumper and Emperor into the graveyard. This is such an important rule. Like, you don't understand. You need to get those cards into the graveyard as soon as possible. The second rule was Galaxy Soldier searches Galaxy Wizard, or Galaxy Wizard searches Galaxy Soldier, and then whichever one you search last will search Summoner. This rule is changing. It should be seen as a trio. So Galaxy Soldier, Galaxy Wizard, and Summoner should be seen as a group of monsters that you want to get onto the field as soon as possible. Those are your priority cards as well. The third rule was Trance and Expedition were interchangeable. Now, that's not really a rule because, as someone else pointed in the comment section, get Trance first just in case someone nibs you. Instead, I'm going to make the third rule similar to the second rule, where it's going to be a trio. It's going to be 100, Trance, and Expedition. Those are your three cards that you're going to want to get out onto the field, well, specifically spell cards. Now, we can actually get onto the combos right now. As you can see, I have a Galaxy Soldier and Galaxy 100 in my hand. And from the previous video, lesson 1 I'm talking about, we had some rules. Again, number one rule, get Jumper and Emperor into the graveyard as soon as possible. You need to do this quickly. The second rule, which I'm going to change a bit, but the second rule was Galaxy Soldier and Galaxy Wizard search each other, and whichever one you search last from that, you search Summoner. This rule is going to change into the Monster Trio. I'm going to call it the Monster Trio. And essentially what I mean by this is you just need to make sure that all three of those cards are on the field or in the graveyard. That's your objective. The third rule was Expedition and Trance are interchangeable. I'm actually going to change that to be similar to the second rule, and I'm going to state this. This is the spell trio. So we have the monster trio and we have the spell trio. The spell trio is going to be Expedition, Trance, and 100. So that's the Galaxy 100. And it's going to be in that order. And by that order, I mean the first rule, second rule, third rule. It doesn't really matter the order whether you get Trance or Expedition or 100. I'm not going to talk about those orders, but the order should be the first rule, second rule, third rule. Now, second rule and third rule might be changeable, but I want you to focus on first rule, second rule, third rule. So, knowing that from the previous video, if you haven't watched the previous video, I suggest you watch it. We're going to activate 100 because obviously you can't do anything with Soldier. Now, this is the first problem. First dilemma, I guess. What do we send to the graveyard? We know the first rule in our mind is Emperor or Jumper, but which one? And you just have to ask yourself the logical question. Which one can you do to continue the combo? So first, let's see Emperor. Emperor is wrong because, simply put it, we don't have any other Photon or Galaxy card in the graveyard or on the field. So it's going to do nothing. Instead, you're going to activate 100 and send Jumper. I remember in the first video, I always told you to prioritize the one in your hand, but when there's none in your hand, neither of them, then you are gonna choose which one makes the most sense, which one will actually propel you forward and allow you to do a combo. So we're gonna send Jumper, we're gonna activate. Now you still have to think of the first rule, but in this case, none of these will execute the first rule, second rule, or third rule. So you just have to think which one is going to allow us to continue our combo. Expedition will do nothing for us because we do not have a level 5 or higher monster on the field, and we won't be able to get one on the field if we add Expedition. Last Hope numbers wouldn't do anything. Hyper Galaxy wouldn't do anything. Galaxy 100, we've already activated it, so it won't do anything. So our only logical answer is Trance. We're going to activate Trance, and we're going to choose Jumper. Now, in this case, it's going to be pretty obvious which one you should search, but just, again, think logically. Which one has more value into the graveyard? Wizard or Summoner? The obvious answer is Wizard. The reason being is that Summoner can special summon Wizard from the graveyard. So it's always going to be useful to have Wizard in the graveyard. So we are going to special summon Wizard and then turn it into a Galaxy Photon Dragon and then detach Wizard. Now I just explained why we detach Wizard, but in situations where you don't know which one to detach, you're going to have to ask yourself this: which one is more useful? In the graveyard, at least. We've already used Jumper's effect. If we hadn't used Jumper's effect, we would instantly use Jumper, because Jumper has more value in the graveyard than Wizard. But because we've already used Jumper's effect, we are going to put Wizard into the graveyard. And even if it doesn't matter, because we might, I don't know, use it as link material for Soul Flare, it doesn't matter. It's just good habit to do so, because there are some combos that specifically require you to detach the correct material in order to execute the combo. So it's just good habit to know which one has more value in the graveyard. So we are going to search. What are we going to search? So let's always step back. Whenever you're searching, whenever you're adding something, always step back and ask yourself, what was the rules that I set? First rule: Emperor and Jumper into the graveyard. Have we finished that rule before we can move on to the second one? Okay, we have not. Which piece is missing? We already have Jumper in the graveyard, technically it's as material, but we've already activated Jumper. So we can send Emperor to the graveyard. You can see it says send to the graveyard, but hold on. Is there an effective way? Is there a more effective way to send Emperor to the graveyard? There is. And that's by adding it to the hand, because we have Soldier, which can discard it, and that would give us a body on the field and a search. So you activate Soldier, send an Emperor to the graveyard. We're going to activate Soldier. We're going to activate Emperor. And then we're going to activate Galaxy Photon Dragon. And obviously, you don't know which one you want to, what level you want to make it, but you have to ask yourself this, and it's just logic. Well, which level is the most useful? It's all about usefulness. Which level is the most useful for Galaxy Eyes? What level do we use the most? Ask yourself. It's a pretty easy question. Pretty sure I don't need to say it. Voila. Then we are going to special summon Emperor, and then we have another dilemma. Okay, hold on. We are searching something. What did I say? Take a step back and ask yourself, have we completed the first rule? We have completed the first rule. We had Jumper into the graveyard, and we had Emperor into the graveyard. Okay, just pause for a second. The second rule states, and this is the new, technically I changed it, right? But the second rule states that we should get all three onto the field and graveyard, the monster trio. Soldier, Summoner, Wizard. Is there a way with just one normal summon that we can have all three of those on the field or in the graveyard? What piece are we missing? Now technically we have Wizard in the graveyard, so we already have 1 point. We have Soldier on the field, so we have 2 points. So what's the last piece? Summoner. Makes sense. Especially because we have Wizard in the graveyard, we can normal summon Summoner. We still have an extra normal summon. And then we could target Wizard. Okay. Now we can activate Wizard. Pause. Pause again. We're searching for something again. Just pause. Take a step back. Ask yourself, have we completed the first rule? Emperor and Wizard. Yes, we have completed that. Not Emperor, Wizard, my bad. Emperor and Jumper. We have completed that. Have we completed the second one? The Monster Trio. We have completed that. Have we completed the third rule, which was the Spell Trio? 100, Trance, and Expedition. We have not completed that. We need Expedition or Searching Expedition. Simple. It's so simple. Just follow those rules in the order and you'll be executing the combos like it's nothing. So then we're gonna activate Expedition, and then you're gonna special summon Afterglow. Now, in some cases, you're gonna special summon Emperor, but in rare cases, we'll actually do that in maybe the 3rd or 4th lesson. I'll show you really complex combos, like turning Emperor to a level 4. But we now need to trigger effects. We've completed all of our rules, all of the 3 rules. Now we just need to trigger effects, right? So what effects can we trigger? Well, we can't trigger any of these, but we know that Afterglow has a detach effect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into Cypher X. Now we have 3 level 8s. So which one do we choose? Do we choose Soldier? Do we choose Emperor? And I'm gonna tell you this. You choose Emperor, and the reason why you choose Emperor, so let's do Emperor. The reason why you choose Emperor is because Emperor's level doesn't change. Soldier's level will change if it goes to the graveyard when it's level 5, and it's just good habit, right? It's the reason why is because Galaxy Eyes utilizes level 8s more than level 5s. Yes, technically you can go into Infinity, but in this deck we don't really go into Infinity. So you're gonna activate, and then you're gonna detach 2. You're gonna trigger Afterglow's effect, special summon, and then you're gonna activate 100, and obviously you're gonna banish. So let's banish, yes, banish 1 monster, and we're always gonna banish Zeus. Then we are gonna go into Soul Flare. Ask yourself with Soul Flare, just pause a second, which cards on the field are the most useless right now? Now instantly you may say Galaxy Photon Dragon and Cypher X, but what about Summoner? What does Summoner provide? Summoner is actually the weakest one here. The reason why Summoner is the weakest is because if we sacrifice Galaxy Photon Dragon, it has less attack. It goes down to 1600. But if we don't sacrifice Galaxy Photon Dragon, it still has less attack than Cypher X. Cypher X is still more useful. So we know we're going to sacrifice Summoner. Now it's up to you whether you want to remove Galaxy Photon Dragon or Cypher X. There's 2 combos for this. There's two card combos, so this is one of them. So I'm gonna do both of them regardless. So for now, I'm just gonna remove Galaxy Photon Dragon. I'll remove that one, and we're gonna go into Soul Flare. Now you may instantly be, okay, grab Afterglow and call it a day. No, we still have that extra normal summon. So now Wizard gets that priority. Because we have that, you're gonna see we still have an extra normal summon. Because Wizard had the extra normal summon, we prioritized it over Afterglow because it's just more useful. Searching a card is just more useful than special summoning 1 card, right? Now I can activate Wizard to grab myself Last Hope Numbers. I can activate Last Hope Numbers, targeting the Afterglow that we didn't pick, and the Emperor, and put it on the field. Yep. So see how that's better than just special summoning 1 Afterglow. Then we are going to go into number 90. And then we are going to go into number 38. Voila. Untargetable. All cards on the field are untargetable except for our spell card. But all monster cards are untargetable. We have a monster negate, we have a spell negate, and we have monster removal. Now, I do want to explain something really quick. With Last Hope Numbers, I highly suggest you use Afterglow and Photon Emperor to special summon Photon Lord, your number 90, your monster negate. And that's because number 90 states, if you can see it on the left here, it states that if this card has a Photon card as material, it cannot be destroyed by card effects, which Photon Emperor is a Photon card. Afterglow isn't a Photon card, but Photon Emperor is a Photon card, so it can't be destroyed by card effects. And if you read its monster negation effect, it says, and if the detached material was a Galaxy card, destroy that card. Meaning we can detach Galaxy Eyes Afterglow, and we will destroy that opponent's monster, as well as negating it. And we'll still have the protection effect because we have Photon Emperor. And obviously during our opponent's turn, we're going to negate meaning Afterglow can trigger its effect again to special summon a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, triggering Hundred's effect to banish a second card from the extra deck, which is extremely useful. So that's why I highly suggest you do that instead of these two, Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon and Soldier, because although we have a Photon card and a Galaxy card, if we detach one, we don't get Hundred's effect, unfortunately. Now we're going to do the second combo, and this time it's going to be quizzed. So I am not going to do that much to tell you what, I'm not going to explain essentially. You have to kind of do it for yourself. Okay, this is the second combo. Now, it looks similar. We've just replaced the Soldier with an Emperor. So, what's the first thing we're going to do? We're going to activate 100. What are we going to send into the graveyard? Just take a step back. We're searching. We're searching or we're sending to the graveyard. We need to take a step back. What was the number one rule? I'm not going to remind you what the number one rule was. I'm not going to do that. What was the number one rule? Okay. If you got it right, we're going to activate Jumper. Okay, which one makes the most sense? In fact, you can still use the rule here. You can still use the rule here. What was our number one rule? Are we able to fulfill it with any of these? If not, let's move on to the second rule. What was the second rule? Are we able to fulfill it here? If not, okay. What's the third rule? Are we able to fulfill it here? Yes, we are. I'm not going to tell you what the third rule was. Which, out of the third rule, which card makes the most sense? Take your time. Okay, Trance. If you didn't know that, that's unfortunate. Trance is the only card that will allow you to actually go forward. All the other cards will just, do nothing. We're going to activate Trance. Slugs in Jumper. Again, ports. The combos. Number one. What was number one? Rule number one. Think, okay, does any of these help? Maybe not. Let's go down to rule number two. Rule number two. Do any of these help? Okay. Rule number two is applied here. Okay, which one should we retrieve? You should retrieve Wizard, because we can search Summoner, and Summoner can get Wizard from the graveyard. It's the same here. We're gonna Exceed Summon, activate, just think. Pause, we are sending something to the graveyard. What is the most effective one? Okay. We already used Jumper's effect, so Wizard is the most effective. Activate. Again, pause. What was rule number one? We're sending something to the graveyard or adding it to the hand. Okay, we're searching, we're moving things, alright? Let's take a step back. What do we need to add? Soldier. You didn't know? Soldier will send Emperor from our hand to the graveyard. Activate Soldier. We're gonna activate. We're gonna activate. And we're gonna activate. Okay, it's all about usefulness. Usefulness. Which level is the most useful when you hear Galaxy Eyes? It's just obvious. It's just obvious. Special summon. Alright, we're searching again. Just pause. Okay, have we completed rule number one? I don't know, have we? Have we completed rule number two? I do not know. Have we completed rule number three? I personally do not know. You come to that conclusion. I'll tell you this, we have a Trance in graveyard, a Wizard in graveyard, and then Jumper as material, and then Galaxy Photon Dragon on the field, Soldier on the field, Emperor on the field. Which one is missing? First rule was completed, second rule was not completed. Boom, we take this card. We take Summoner. Normal summon Summoner. I mean, your only option is Wizard here. Okay. Activate. We have a Trance in graveyard, 100, Summoner, Emperor. You know, all those cards. Just think of the first rule. We're moving cards again. Just stop. Think. Number one rule. Number two rule. Number three rule. Okay, we're on the third rule because we completed 1, 2, 3. What card do we need to add? Somewhere here. Okay, Expedition. We're gonna activate Expedition. Right, what are we gonna special summon? I guess in this case, the only one that makes sense is Afterglow, so you don't even really need to think about that. And then you're gonna proceed to do the exact same thing, right? What cards can we need to start activating cards, right? Is there any effects that we can possibly activate? Afterglow's effect, how can we activate it? Cypher X. Okay, which one are we going to use for Cypher X, right? Okay, we know that these cards are going to be sent into the graveyard, right? So we know Afterglow, but which one wants to be in the graveyard more, Emperor or Soldier? Well, if we send Soldier into the graveyard, its level is going to be for level 5 again. No, we don't want that. We want a useful level in the graveyard. Okay, so let's choose Emperor. Special summon Cypher X. And we're going to activate, detaching the 2. Activate, special summon. Then you're gonna banish. Okay, this is pretty much all linear, so I don't have to pause. All right, is there anything we can activate? No. Okay, is there anything we can special summon? Maybe there is. Let's special summon. We can special summon Soul Flare. Okay, for Soul Flare, which cards are the most useless? Now, again, my humble opinion, I think Summoner is the most useless, but Galaxy Photon Dragon or Cypher X. Now, I'm pretty sure before we did Cypher X, so this time I'm gonna do. Oh no, did we do? I am gonna remove Cypher X this time, just for the sake of being different from the last combo. We're gonna activate Soul Flare, and you're gonna ask yourself, which one are we gonna retrieve? Afterglow, maybe? I want to remind you that we have a bonus normal summon. We still have a normal summon. So do you want to special summon 1 monster or maybe potentially special summon 2 monsters? Or so you're going to take the 2 monsters. So I'm going to normal summon Wizard. Activate. Last Hope. You're going to activate Last Hope. Target 2. This is the 2 special summons. And it's that easy. Then, obviously, because I recommended, special summon number 90, special summon number 38. Remember, again, three interruptions, 1 monster, 1 spell, and 1 monster removal. The previous 2 combos were extremely similar. In fact, they were pretty much the same. Soldier was interchangeable with Emperor. It's just that you searched either or with Galaxy Photon Dragon when you did the 1 card combo with Galaxy 100. So obviously you would activate Galaxy 100, do everything, get to Galaxy Photon Dragon, and then you just search whichever one you don't have, whether that be Galaxy Soldier or Galaxy 100. This time it's completely different. We don't have Soldier, we don't have Emperor, and you can activate this card and you may not know which one to send to the graveyard. The first rule, second rule, third rule. Now I'm not going to help in this one as well, because this one should be a quiz. I'm just going to do it for you, and I'll give the reasoning after I do it for you. So after I put whatever card in the graveyard, I'll give you the reasoning. So which card should we put into the graveyard? Think of number 1 rule. I'm not going to explain the number 1 rule. Hopefully you know the number 1 rule by now. Okay, I'm going to say it now. You send Jumper to the graveyard. The number 1 rule states send either Jumper or Emperor to the graveyard. In this case, the reason why we choose Jumper with Emperor is that it does more. Jumper, if we send Jumper to the graveyard, actually first let's send Emperor to the graveyard, because we could just restart. We send Emperor to the graveyard, 1, its effect doesn't activate, and we activate Trance, targeting Emperor. Then we could target Afterglow, probably the best option, and then you'd probably go into Cypher. You'd go into Cypher. This, by the way, this is the wrong combo path. I just want to show you that it's wrong, because I'm able to show that it's wrong early on. Then you can activate both of these, because we didn't activate Emperor's effect. and then you'll be able to banish, and then you would go into the number 90. That is quite a boring, lackluster, undesirable board. We don't want that. Let's restart. So we're going to activate 100, and I'm sure you already know what to do. We're going to target jumper, number 1 rule, activate. Okay, step back. Now in this case we can only do spell cards, right? So we can't execute our first rule, we can't execute our second rule, but what we can do is execute that trio, that spell trio. Remember that spell trio I said? That's the third rule. Monster trio was second rule. Third rule, not third trio. Third rule is spell trio. Okay, so we have 100. We have trance. So what card is missing? Expedition. That was the rule. Okay, now we can activate trance, target jumper. Okay, think again. Executing our first rule, executing our second rule. We can't execute our first rule currently, so we have to execute our second rule, the monster trio. Okay, think. Which card is valued more, I guess? Which card can we search? I guess we just have more copies of Wizard, so we choose Wizard. That's a logical answer. Then we're going to go into our rank 4. We're going to detach. Which card should we detach? Which one has more value currently? Not objectively, because objectively it will be a different answer. What card currently has more value in the graveyard? Wizard, right? Jumper, we've already activated its effect, so its value just dips down to 0. Whereas the Wizard, potentially we can have Summoner, special summon it from the graveyard, so it's more useful. And even if it doesn't matter, even if we use Galaxy Photon Dragon as link material, doesn't matter, it's just good habit. Alright, think. What was our number? We're sending a card either from our hand or to the graveyard. Think. Just take a pause. How can we execute our first rule? Our first rule? Okay, that's our first rule. I'll tell you this, we send Emperor straight to the graveyard. Because we do not have a soldier in hand, and we can't get a soldier in hand in any other way because we have Expedition, we can't even activate Expedition, right? We have to send Emperor to the graveyard because of our number 1 rule. We have to send it instantly. We can't add it to our hand, we can't do anything else. Special summon. It's already level 8. Okay. Think again. Okay, so our first rule is completely done. Ignore the first rule now. Okay, now it's second rule and third rule. So priority is second rule, and then you'd go for the third rule. Okay, technically we've already completed the third rule, so it's only the second rule that's left. Okay, so what's the second rule? The second rule states the monster trio. So what are we missing from the monster trio? What 2 cards? Okay, you know what 2 cards we're missing from the monster trio, so we're going to activate Expedition, and I know we always get Afterglow, and this is what I mean. It's not really a rule to use Expedition to get Afterglow. You always have to follow the order of the rules. And first rule was Emperor and Jumper. Second rule was, I'm not going to say it, but what card do we special summon using this? Okay, we special summon Soldier. Okay, keep on thinking. Oh well, we have to activate. What level is the most useful? It's pretty obvious. It's Galaxy, it's level 8 is the most useful. Sometimes you can go for level 4 sometimes, but level 8 is the most useful. Now, Galaxy Soldier. We're still stuck. We still haven't completed the second rule. We're still stuck. So what's the remaining piece? What's the final piece of Exodia for Galaxy Eyes? Summoner. Perfect. You got that right? Good. If you didn't, unfortunately, just keep on rewatching the video, understand those rules. It's just the rules, just follow the rules. Okay, we're gonna normal summon. We still have an extra normal summon, so keep that at the back of your mind. And we're gonna get Wizard. So we've completed all 3 rules, technically. So we're gonna activate this. Once we've completed all 3 rules, you pretty much know what to do from here on out. What we can do is, you may does it really matter? Actually, I'm thinking of the order. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, so usually you could get last hope numbers here, but we're actually gonna get Afterglow here. And then we're gonna pick 2 of the useless cards. What's the most useless cards here on the field? Good. I'm gonna assume that you got that correct. I have to assume that you got that correct. It was Galaxy Photon Dragon and Summoner. And then we're gonna add a card from the graveyard to our hand. Remember, we had that extra normal summon, so we're gonna add Wizard. Okay, we're gonna activate Afterglow, special summoning it. We're gonna activate, or not activate, we're gonna normal summon Wizard, special summon, normal summoning. I'm getting confused here. Right, special summon. Now, what cards can we activate? In fact, we can activate some cards here. Now we can activate Wizard, so I'm gonna activate Wizard instantly. And here, technically we can go for Hyper Galaxy as well, but this is the last hope numbers. This video is about last hope numbers, so I'm gonna get that card first. We've got last hope numbers. Then, is there any cards we can activate on the field? No, but is there any cards that can be activated or triggered in some way? Yes. We're going to use Emperor and Afterglow because we know Emperor is more useful than Soldier in the graveyard, because Soldier will return to being a level 5, which is going to be useless. We go into Cypher X. And we're going to detach dude. This is kind of standard stuff, so I can't really quiz you on this. Then we're going to special summon. Then you're going to banish. Okay. Again, I can't really quiz you on this. It depends on the matchup, what you banish. That's your decision. And then you're going to special summon. Now, you may want to special summon number 90 again. I'm not going to recommend that. I recommend you use Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon and Soldier to special summon number 38. And then last hope numbers to special summon number 90. Obviously, we're not going to negate that. Let's just do this quickly. Special. Done. All you have to do is follow a bit of logic and the rules. First rule, second rule, third rule, and that's it. It's as easy as that.